Coming up on this week's episode of Weather or Not, we look at the outreach of the Weather Ready Nation program aimed at preparing us for potential disasters. Brad will join us later with your Central Pennsylvania forecast, and we'll take a look at nature in the news. All of that and more. Weather or Not starts right now. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Weather or Not. I'm your host, Christy Reuille.
And I'm your forecaster, Brad Guay.
Well, Brad, we've had such a long streak of below average temperatures. It's just been so chilly. Is there any hope that that is going to change?
Yeah, we've definitely been feeling the chill over the past few weeks, but as we look ahead into that extended forecast, things are looking a little bit better as we head towards the end of next week. Could even see some temperatures climbing above average, maybe even the 40s or even 50 degrees.
Wow, that seems so warm after the temperatures we've been seeing lately. Definitely some hope for the future, so we'll want to stay tuned to hear the rest of that forecast. But for now, here's Nature in the News.
A new star has been discovered by astronomers at the Australian National University, and it's thought to be the oldest living star in the universe. The star was born over 13 billion years ago, just after the Big Bang, and it's now more than 400 million years older than the next oldest star, and likely older than the galaxy itself. Because of this discovery, scientists can now learn what the universe looked like relatively soon after its birth. The star formed from gases and particles thrown out of a supernova billions of years ago. And although it sits 6,000 light years away from us, the star stood out from others because of its unusually low levels of iron and other heavy metals. Iron levels are one of the ways that scientists age stars.
The glacier that produced the iceberg that sunk the Titanic back in 1912 is now moving at record speed. Earlier this week, researchers released a study documenting the speed of Greenland's Jakobshavn Glacier during the summer of 2013. The Jakobshavn Glacier is moving at a rate of more than 150 feet per day. That's more than 50 yards per day, or 11 miles per year, nearly twice as fast as it was moving back in 2000. Located on the west coast of Greenland, Jakobshavn is believed to be the single largest contributor to sea level rise in the northern hemisphere and accounts for as much as 10% of all ice lost from Greenland. In the last decade alone, Jakobshavn has lost approximately 300 billion tons of ice. The ice seems to be melting faster the faster the glacier moves, which sounds concerning. However, Penn State glaciologist Richard Alley says that the worst-case scenario is not occurring.
Well, as I'm sure you remember, we got a few inches of snow here in central Pennsylvania last weekend. While that storm didn't really make too much news here, that SAM system is now pounding Europe and making headlines there. The past few months have been especially wet across much of England, and what was a relatively tame storm for us is now packing wind gusts of upwards of 80 miles per hour near the coast, according to the UK Met Office. Because of all this rain, the River Thames has reached its highest level in years, and it's causing flooding to towns upstream of London. Residents have turned to sandbags to try to protect their property. Heavy rains, high tides, and strong winds aren't just a problem in England, though. Ireland, France, and Spain and Portugal have all experienced similar conditions in the past couple of months.
Officials in central Pennsylvania are struggling to keep up with the snow this year. More than 30 inches of snow have already fallen on the campus of Penn State, and the Office of the Physical Plant has the tough job of clearing the snow from all 26 miles of paved road and 67 miles of sidewalks here on campus. More than 300 tons of salt have been spread across campus. Budgets allow for $600,000 of snow removal each year. However, this year OPP has already spent more than $1 million getting rid of the snow, and unfortunately, winter isn't over yet. The Borough of State College is facing a similar situation. Director of Public Works Mark Whitfield says that the borough uses an average 800 tons of salt each year, and they have already hit that number this year. And now, to see if they will be needing more salt because of impending snow, here's Brad with your forecast.
All right, well, thank you, Christy. And it looks like OPP will have to break out that snow removing equipment maybe once or twice more by the time we get through the end of the week and into early next week. In your central Pennsylvania forecast for your Friday, low pressure off to our north, bringing through this front that's draped down through the Carolinas and into the southeast. bringing with it a few snow showers, some flurries associated with it, mainly through the morning hours for your Friday, going to taper off a little bit as we head into the afternoon, and we'll be left with just lingering flurries as we head overnight on Friday into Saturday morning. So not a huge deal, but enough to maybe whiten the ground a little bit. You'll see a coating to a dusting in some spots. Those flurries, again, sticking around through a little bit of Saturday. The cold air, the main story, though, for the weekend, definitely will be feeling the chill. Temperatures in the mid-20s for the most part through both your Saturday and your Sunday as we see a deep trough digging into the region. We'll talk about that when we look at the upper air map. Again, your Sunday, high pressure off to our north, cold air dominating the pattern, partly sunny skies for the most part for your Sunday. Again, that upper air pattern, this shows you the average of temperatures in about the lowest 15 to 18,000 feet of the atmosphere. Those blues indicate colder temperatures than we're used to seeing. Again, those colder temperatures throughout the majority of the atmosphere indicative of cold air at the surface. And again, if you're stepping outside on your Friday, you'll notice it. It's a little bit chillier than it should be for this time of year. We average about 37 degrees, 36 degrees for our high. As we get through to your Saturday, though, that trough digs in a little bit more, and again, feeling chilly. And a similar story for your Sunday. By the time we get into Monday, though, could see a little bit of improvement and even a chance for some warmer temperatures by the time we get to the end of next week. We'll talk a little bit more about that in your extended forecast. In terms of the forecast for this weekend, though, temperatures slightly above freezing for your Friday. Some snow in the morning, clearing out by the time we get to the afternoon. And then going into Friday night, just some lingering flurries. Temperatures in the lower 20s, so feeling a little bit chillier for your Friday night. Saturday, not warming up much from those lows on Friday night. 24 your high. Again, feeling pretty chilly, well below our average for this time of year. Saturday night, we'll drop down into the lower teens. I think we'll bottom out at about 12 degrees as the skies begin to clear. And then by the time we get into your Sunday, again, staying chilly, that high pressure dominating our weather. We'll see a little bit of sunshine, though, at least. So some partly sunny skies with temperatures staying pretty chilly, so you'll be feeling the cold if you're stepping out there for your Sunday. We'll be back in a minute with more.
What is a weather-ready nation? It's a nation in which society is prepared for and responds to weather-dependent events. And it's the vision of the National Weather Service.
Stepping out of the forecast booth and into the community, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency, commonly called NOAA, announced a new and exciting initiative at the American Meteorological Society's annual conference in Atlanta, Georgia, earlier this month. The initiative is called Weather Ready Nation Ambassadors and is a part of an international campaign, surprisingly called Weather Ready Nation, that is geared towards making sure private businesses, organizations, and schools are ready, resilient, and responsive to natural hazards such as tornadoes, hurricanes, and floods, though not contained to just those three. The Ambassadors Initiative is not like Storm Ready or Tsunami Ready, which, if you're familiar with them, were certificate-based programs that would bring organizations up to a very strict standard of preparedness and responsiveness to natural hazards. The Ambassadors Initiative instead is focused on bringing organizations, schools, private businesses, even clubs, into the weather community as a whole, which means sharing stories that you were able to respond to a significant weather event, or showing preparedness, measures that you're taking in your community. So let's take a look now at the Weather Ready Nation Ambassadors application, which is much simpler than Storm Ready or Tsunami Ready. To find the application for Weather Ready Nation Ambassadors and learn more about the program, first go to www.nws.noaa.gov/weatherreadynation/ambassadors. Also, Googling Weather Ready Nation Ambassadors will work. You'll find the homepage. After that, you'll be able to find more information about Weather Ready Nation Ambassadors and the steps that led to coming up with this program. But if you'd like to apply to it, find the link towards the bottom of a page that says Apply to become a Weather Ready Nation Ambassador. They're going to lead you through the service agreement for Weather Ready Nation Ambassadors that NOAA provides. Once you agree to these terms, You'll be led to the application, which, if you have experience with the Storm Ready program, is incredibly simple. So it just requires a bit of information from you, and that's your organization's name, website, what relationship you have with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency, what sort of area you're responsible for, name the type of your organization, and then the level of commitment that you would like to have, and that's how much you would like to be working with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Agency as a Weather Ready Nation ambassador. Here at Whether or Not, we're proud to be a part of NOAA's Weather Ready Nation, and we encourage you to become a Weather Ready Nation ambassador.
You cannot stop a tornado. You cannot shift its direction. A tornado is a force of nature, but so are you. If you find yourself in the path of severe weather, there's plenty you can do to protect yourself and your family. Immediately go to shelter. And then, with a text, a status update, or a tweet, you can alert your social network about the coming threat. Visit noaa.gov/WRN to learn how you can be a force of nature in the face of severe weather. Send a message. Save a life. Be a force of nature.
Now stay tuned for your extended forecast.
Well, we are back now with a look at your extended forecast as we head into the weekend and beyond. Again, your weekend starting off with a little bit of snow on your Friday. Going to taper off by the time we get to the afternoon, though, and then we'll just be left with some flurries by the time we get into your Saturday. And then your Sunday, mainly just partly sunny skies. Could see a flake or two, but not a huge deal at all. Temperatures pretty cold through your Saturday and your Sunday. Sunday, we have this trough over the East Coast, but then look at what happens as we head into Monday. Trough lifts up and out of our area, and then we're left with some better conditions as we head to your Monday, a little bit closer to average temperatures. Tuesday into Wednesday, we see this weaker disturbance dig through, and we could see some snow showers, rain showers associated with that, potential for a bit of a storm. But then look what happens as we head into your Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Warmer air finally building into Pennsylvania. Temperatures could even get into the 40s and 50s if we're lucky, and that's certainly something that we'd all like to see. We've gotten all too used to 20s in this very dreary and cold winter here in central Pennsylvania. The forecast itself, again, showing you that upward trend in the numbers. Temperatures warming from about 25, 30 for your Monday into the 40s and even potentially near 50 by the time we get to Friday, with just that one disturbance moving through on Tuesday or Wednesday to add a little bit of a roadblock to the warming trend.
Well, all this talk of snow and cold weather brings us back to our Weather Whiz quiz. How much snow fell on the single snowiest day in State College? Was it A, 17.3 inches, B, 26.4 inches, C, 9.7 inches, or D, 11.2 inches? The correct answer is A, 17.3 inches, and all of that fell back on April 28, 1928.
Yeah, and that certainly is an impressive snowfall. To put things into perspective for you, our average annual snowfall here in State College is about 45 inches. So just imagine having over a third of our annual snowfall in just one day.
That would definitely be a lot of snow to see in one day, but from the sound of your forecast, we shouldn't be seeing anything like that in the coming week.
Yeah, just a couple of minor snow chances again through the weekend and then potentially on your Tuesday or Wednesday, but things definitely not looking that bad.
That's good, although we know we aren't out of the woods yet in terms of snowstorms, as that record was set in April of 1928.
Yeah, just imagine that. Snow during finals week.
No, thank you. Well, that's all we have time for tonight on Whether or Not. I'm your host, Christy Reuille.
And I'm your forecaster, Brad Guay. You have a good night.